Welcome to my prediction and outlook for 2025 for uranium and nuclear energy stocks. 2024, difficult year for the uranium sector, but I think this was just a setup for a stellar year 2025 for uranium stocks. First off, let me wish you a happy new year, all the best for 2025, especially health. Everything else is secondary. We all know about it. But what comes in a close second are profits in the stock market. And in 2025, I believe that the uranium stocks will offer great opportunities for swing trades and long-term gains. Multi-bagger, even 10-bagger potentials are here. Let's get into the presentation. As you can see, we are talking not only about uranium stocks, but also nuclear energy stocks. This is the new thing that started to happen in 2024. So let's start with what happened in 2024 and why was the performance so disappointing in uranium stocks and in uranium overall. Well, we had a consolidation in the uranium price after a monster year 2023. What happened? Well, by the end of 2023, the utilities obviously realized that Biden is going to follow through with the import ban of Russian uranium. So they all rushed into the market to buy uranium, which then also attracted speculators, and it just pumped up the uranium price. As you know, it went up above $100 a pound by year's end, start of 2024. Now, consolidation was necessary, and that's what happened in 2024. When the utilities stopped buying uranium or reduced their uranium purchases massively, depending on which utility it was, that led to a sentiment cool down for the uranium miners, though fundamentally things were going pretty well for the uranium miners. Really important, and I just touched on it, we also had a shift in the uranium/nuclear energy sector. And that is the shift went from the uranium miners to utilities and towards companies from the SMR sector. SMRs is the next generation of nuclear reactors. And let me show you what I am talking about. So this is your energy, for example, in 2024. No doubt about it, pretty bad year, right? This is uranium energy, 2024. It was actually okay, right? The fall kind of dragged it out, but if you look at this here, disappointing. Now, look at this chart. BWX, one of the top SMR stocks in 2024, great performance. Oklo, great year 2024. And so on, so on. Obviously, Vistra, look at this monster rally. I think it was the second best performer in the S&P 500 in 2024. So we had action in the nuclear energy sector. We had massive gains in the nuclear energy sector, just not in the uranium miners. That was the big difference, and that was the thing that most people didn't understand, because they're used to just look at the uranium miners in order to see what's happening in nuclear energy sector. No, this year, last year, 2024, we had a shift from uranium miners to utilities and the SMR sector, and this is what's got added now. And now, going forward, we really cannot talk about uranium stocks as the name for the whole sector anymore, because we added sectors, we added utilities, and we added the SMR, let's say construction, building, technology sector. So we going forward, I'm going to start calling it the nuclear energy sector, and the uranium miners are an important part, but only a part of it. So why am I bullish on uranium miners? First off, we have the ultra bullish long-term fundamentals for nuclear energy and uranium. You all know about it. The rising energy demand that will even increase with the boom of AI. Only nuclear energy can solve it if we don't want to ruin the world completely. We have a crazy supply-demand deficit that is rapidly growing, and that was even happening before we had all the energy demand that's going to come in from AI. The uranium prices should go up in 2025. If you have seen my video, my outlook for 2025 for uranium, then you know what I'm talking about. If not, here is the link to the video for my uranium prediction. I recommend you watch it. The most important point, real quick, is that the utilities basically reduced their purchases of uranium massively in 2024 because they needed to focus on making sure that they had enough supply of enriched uranium after the Russians basically created an export ban, or the possibilities for an immediate export ban of enriched uranium. Now in 2025, the utilities should come back to the market to purchase uranium. We have the stocks of the uranium miners nearing long-term uptrends. Let's jump into the charts. Here you see next gen energy, and you see that it hit the big support zone. If it comes back down to the support zone, this could be an excellent buy. You also see the uptrend getting closer and closer. You have stocks like, let's say, UR Energy, where the stock all the way already came down to a beautiful double support zone here, horizontal support zone purple, the uptrend right there. The sentiment, it's at a low point, probably at the lowest point it's been in since the last big uranium rally. I mean, 2023, we had like the end of the year, we had like a spike, but really retail is not invested in uranium right now. They're not paying attention to it. And the uranium miners, with very, very few exceptions, are driven by retail investors and retail purchases. So when we have a bad sentiment, then they're not invested. They, as you know, jump on the bandwagon when things are already rolling, right? That's why they lose money in the market. So for me, to know that the sentiment is at a low point is a very bullish sign. And then the SMR stocks are starting to show topping formations or are in corrections already. Let me show you a couple of them so you know what I'm talking about. The big stars of last year. You can see here BWX Technologies, great company, but you can see clearly we're topping out, right? Topping formation. We broke below the support zone already. We're building a bear flag. Chances are high, especially in a correction, that we're going to come down to this double support zone, lower end of the uptrend channel, horizontal support zone. Vistra in consolidation right now. Strong day yesterday. That will always be the case when the uranium sector and overall nuclear energy sector is doing well. But consolidation phase. Now, still an uptrend. Looks better, right? But we can see that it's cooling down. And that obviously is good for the uranium stocks. We have the potential for surprises to the upside. For example, that the United States under Trump announces that they're going to increase their strategic reserves in uranium. More deals announced of big tech companies, or, and this I haven't heard this anywhere, this is like a Wilhelmi exclusive that you're hearing right here. The new ace in the uranium miners game will be, and this will happen, that big tech is going to start buying their own uranium miners to make sure that they have the uranium supplies they need. We have seen it with lithium. If you remember, a lot of the car makers started buying lithium projects or lithium explorers or producers or developers. We will see the same thing in uranium. Will we see it in 2025? I doubt it, but it's possible, right? It's a potential surprise that's absolutely not priced into the market. We got the chain reactions. I talked about it earlier. We only need one positive news or one big positive chart signal. We get a sentiment shift. With retail investors, it goes really quick from bad to great, and then the uranium stocks are off and running. Another reason why I'm bullish for uranium miners is institutional investors are buying into the nuclear trade. You can't see it if you just focus on the uranium price or on the uranium miners, but you see it when you look at the whole nuclear energy sector. The institutional investors cannot invest in 90% of the uranium miners because they're too small. So how do they invest? They buy utilities. They buy some of the big SMR technology companies. Or, let me show you this. This is Cameco. This is the biggest uranium stock in the world. This is what the institutional investors can purchase. Here is the start of 2024. Cameco actually went up. Even though nearly all other uranium stocks were down in the last year, Cameco actually went up. How is that possible? Well, that's possible because the institutional investors can buy into Cameco. So, we obviously always have to talk about the other side of the coin. What could prevent the uranium bull markets? Really only three reasons. Trump foreign policy turns pro-Russia. Big tech increases a flip to gas as an AI energy source short term. That's very possible, and that could just not even prevent the bull market or derail it, but it could cool it down, right? Or obviously, knock on wood, that this will never happen. We get another nuclear disaster. So how? Oh, let me start off with this. My predictions. What are my predictions for 2025? My predictions are uranium will regain momentum and have a strong 2025. Maybe not a very strong, but a strong 2025. For the URA, that's the Global X Uranium ETF. This is where the big miners ETFs. My first target for the next year, for this year, we're in 2025. I'm still in 2024. Is about 3150, which is about a 10% upside, and my second target is 35, is a 20% upside. You might say, oh, well, that doesn't sound very spectacular. All right, I'll give you that, but you have to remember this is an ETF that includes a lot of stocks, and Cameco is the heavyweight, and Cameco is already richly valued. So I believe that some of the smaller uranium producers or near producers will outperform the URA by a wide margin. And also really important with predictions, don't get hung up on the price targets. I know we all love them. That is not so important. What is more important is that you get the direction right. I believe that uranium miners will outperform SMR stocks in 2025. It was the opposite in 2024. I showed this to you. And again, uranium producers will outperform the explorers. I told you the explorers will get their time to shine, but we're not there yet. So How do I plan to play the uranium bull market? The conservative way to do it is you go long on the ETFs for uranium miners, for example, URA. The speculative way is you go long uranium producers or near producers / advanced developers, but US and Canada only. The story will be North American, especially American uranium. This is where you will make the most money. And I am planning, and I stress the word plan. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not your financial advisor. I don't know your risk profile. I don't know your financial situation. You have to make your own judgments. I'm just telling you how I plan to play the uranium bull market. And that is by purchasing uranium producers and near producers in the US. I'm not even looking at the Canadians, to be honest with you guys. And buying SMR stocks after a correction. I'm not buying the uranium explorers. I told you this before. They will get their time to shine, but that will be when we are way above the uranium price of $100 a pound, and when the retail investors are coming in and we get the buying frenzy, like the GameStop moment for the uranium sector, so to speak. So this is my outlook for the uranium and nuclear energy stocks in 2025. Have a great start to the new year. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.